Hi, you're listening to Phil DeBella, and this is FlashCast by PDB. Today I want to talk about government accountability. And with the recent lockdown that's occurred, I was quite vocal about it. I thought I had to make a stance after people reaching out to me in the cafe and restaurant scene. And now with the coffee commune, we represent a network of over 5,000 people. And many have reached out and said, hey, government makes decisions on our behalf without even consulting with us, without asking what is needed, what is not needed. And in this case with COVID, there is no question, and I've said it over and over, that in terms of health, local, state and federal government has done an amazing job. You only have to look at the data, and let me make that point from the start. Not opinions, but actual data. So statements I make in this flashcast are based on me collecting data, analysing it, and then discussing my point of view from, again, a place of data, analysis of that data, then making a comment rather than just making a flyby statement. Now, there is no question that all government has kept us safe in terms of COVID. Lockdowns, processes, information, all the rest of it. Why? Because the data shows us that if you compare us to the rest of the world. But it's not just government. We've also got to factor in that we are a big country with lots of space, but only 25 million people. If you look at Italy, where there's 120 million plus and a small country, people are living often 3 generations in one household. So this has a lot to do with it. Also, an aging population, a population of smokers. And I can say all this because I've got family and relatives and friends in Italy. So I'm talking from experience and again, talking from data. So smaller country, bigger population, 3 generations, one household, not as much space, smoking population, aging population, not a great health care system. So, of course, their data is going to show that COVID's going to affect them harder than Australia. However, in saying that, I do give credit to the government, all levels, local, state, federal. They've done a good job. However, this is what I want to focus on. Safety is not just measured in COVID. And we can see, particularly in the state government of Queensland, exactly how they've gone about it, that every update is used as political gain. We saw an election which should never have been won by the current Premier until COVID came along. And of course, very hard to throw out sitting Premier when they've done a good job with somebody's health or perceived value of health and safety. Now, very simply put, safety is not just about COVID. What hasn't been reported is the increase in mental health. Depression, suicides are on the increase. Financial stability is also contributing to safety. And what happens when they go into lockdowns at the drop of a hat without consulting is, yes, they might keep you safe in terms of COVID, but are they keeping you safe in terms of finances, in terms of mental health? Now, safety to me is all of the above. It's not only COVID, but it is having a roof over your head, meaning you can afford accommodation, meaning that you can afford food, that you can afford the kids' school fees, to dress, clothe, etc. Now, unfortunately, and the worst is yet to come, and I wish it wasn't, however it is, that we will see many small businesses, the backbone of this country, that will close their doors. And the moment that small business closes their doors, not only are the owners affected, but the people that they employ. Now, if you take government out of the equation, small, medium enterprise is the largest employer of businesses, of people in the country. Small, medium enterprises. In Queensland alone, over 450,000 SMEs in a state that has about 6 million people. Now, you do the maths and how many people they employ. We're in an epidemic of not only COVID, we're going to be in a financial epidemic where there's going to be issues financially. And of course, if there's financial issues, that flows on to health issues other than COVID. Safety is not just about COVID. Therefore, we need to make sure that government is making decisions and being held accountable, not only for COVID, but being held accountable for all decisions, including financial decisions. Now, what does government accountability actually means? Political accountability is based on the fact that a politician makes choices on behalf of the people And the people have the ability to reward or sanction these politicians in the way of voting for them. Now, remember that. We choose our elected politician to make decisions on our behalf. But how many times are we keeping them accountable? The only way we can actually keep them accountable is when it comes to vote. 6 months ago, we voted for the current Premier of Queensland because the perception of safety was we are safe, but we're only COVID safe. We're definitely not financially safe. They inherited a government at $80 billion debt, now blown out to over $110 billion debt. They make decisions only based around COVID. They only talk about COVID. They don't talk about anything else. In my recent social media, which then was followed up by radio interview, TV interview, News Limited contacted me and wrote a story. It is not just COVID that is an issue. So we have a chief medical officer who, in my opinion, has done a fantastic job in keeping us safe from COVID. However, the Premier has not once engaged with industry to see what industry thinks, and I can speak from facts on my behalf. The Premier has not engaged with industry in the cafe and restaurant scene with anyone of value that has a great network that can help and assist make decisions based on getting the balance of health and finances / commerce right. Where's our chief commercial officer? Where's a chief commercial officer who has a task force that helps make decisions based on the commercial sustainability during this period, especially moving forward? Now, the underlying point of all this is something that I'm really vocal and strong about, is that government does not make money. I repeat, government does not make money. It is not income producing. Government collects money from SMEs, from royalties, from people that generate revenue. It takes that money and it then spends it. So when we're electing political officials, we are actually trusting them to spend the money they collect from all of us wisely. Yet, why do people that vote never care nor place any emphasis on the financial situation of the state or of the local government or of the federal government? We need to get better as individuals to understand that government are elected officials by us. They need to be held accountable, not just in times of crisis like floods or COVID, etc., but across everything, including finances. Government does not make money. Government spends the money it collects from people. If it doesn't have enough money, it simply puts strategies in place to collect more. The more money they need to collect due to irresponsible spending, then more pressures people have. And at a time like COVID, where people will be in financial hardships because they will be closing their doors, therefore not employing others, which means people don't have jobs, which therefore means no income, which also means government collects less, we're in a state of rhetoric. We'll be in a position where the cycle just keeps going round and round. So, purpose of this flashcast. Let's be part of the change we want to see in the world, as Gandhi says. Be part of the change. Don't be a sideline person yelling out rhetoric that is not based on data or analysis. Be part of the change you want to see. Let's hold governments accountable. Let's hold all levels of government accountable. Let's hold all politicians and responsible people for our money, for our health, for our safety through systems, because at the end of the day, individually, we're all responsible for our own health and safety. However, the systems that are put in place and the do's and the don'ts are put in place by governments such as lockdowns. Choose wisely, be smarter, know more, do more, and again, be part of the change you want to see. Remember that our job is to hold governments accountable, to make sure they are accountable and making decisions that are in the best interest of the people, not in the best interest of themselves to see whether they get re-elected. Now, if you haven't listened to the rest of this flashcast, just remember that. Government to make decisions in the best interest of the people that put them where they are, not in the best interest of whether they get re-elected. Till next time, go be part of the change you want to see. You've been listening to Phil DiBella, and this is FlashCast by PDB.